section 1.5, the psychology of testing. So, in the section, again a theoretical section. So, basically, we will be touching upon human psychology and testing and testers and developers mindset. So, basically, what we mean by human psychology and testing is basically uh, we need to have a certain mindset when we are doing testing. So we need to focus on collaboration over battles. What I mean by that is development and testing at test teams need to work collaboratively to achieve the organizational goals, and there should not be any scope for battles. So, because end goal of both development and testing is to achieve the organizational goals. So, collaboration should be first over battles, and test team needs to emphasize the benefits of testing. So, basically, you need to convince everybody, why. Testing needs to be done, and what are the benefits of doing testing. So for the benefits of testing needs to be emphasized very clearly, and then the test results need to be communicated properly to both internal and external stakeholders. So there should not be any ambiguity in communication process. Basically you say what were the test results, and depending upon the test result, management will have informed decision on the quality of the product. So what I mean by that is if more number of test cases are passing, and if the test cases are designed properly, the management will certainly have more confidence in the quality of the product being delivered. And also one needs to understand other person's perspective. So when you are in testing, you also need to understand the development team's perspective, and vice versa. And you need to confirm that other person's understanding is what you intended to convey. So basically, other person's understanding is you need to ensure that it is indeed what you wanted to convey. And then next section is testers and developers mindset. So here, need to have a very different perspective when you are wearing the hat of a tester compared to that of a hat of a developer. So testers and developers mindsets are very different. So while tester tries to find as many defects as possible, the developer's intention is to have minimal number of defects. So the intention with which you carry out the testing activity should be to find maximum objective defects in the product, and at the same time, the developers try to minimize the number of defects in their product. So these are two different mindsets, basically. So psychology of testing, as we spoke about, it involves human psychology and testing, and testers and developers mindset. Now, let's quickly recap what all things we studied in this section. I'll go over each of these keywords one by one. Coverage. What we mean by coverage is there are two kinds of coverage: requirement coverage and code coverage. So you ensure that you covered all the requirement. At the same time, you also check whether all the product lines of codes are traced or not during testing. Debugging is something which a developer carries out once you report a defect. He or she isolates the defects and fixes it. So that process is debugging, where in debugging you simulate the exact same steps which the tester would have used for reproducing the defect. And then error failure, actually, when we commit certain mistake in the code, it results in error. Error results in defect. Defect leads to failure. And we spoke about quality. Quality is intangible, meaning and quality assurance is the process which achieves the quality. Root cause, basically in root cause we see what resulted in that defect, and then test analysis, basically analysis phase of the testing, and test basis is the basic document which you would have used, basic document or testware which you would have used to come up with the test cases. Test case is an individual case which simulates the as the name itself tells, test case, meaning like you try to simulate certain case of testing. And test completion is the final activity. Test condition is it could be different test data, different test environment. So you try to simulate a test condition. Test control spans across all the activities. Test data is what you supply to the test case. Test design is design of the test case, design of the testing. Test design is a reference which you use for testing activity, and test execution is actual execution of the test cases, either manual or automated test cases. Test implementation is if it is a manual testing, you document all the steps involved. If it is automated test case, you come up with the test script. Monitoring, we have already discussed with respect to control. Test object, what is that is being tested, that is test object. Test objective, why you are carrying out the testing activities. Test oracle is an important term which you see in scientific papers related to testing and all. Test oracle is basically you use for verifying whether the actual results are actual results of test execution are as per expected results. And test planning is like the initial phase of the testing activity which you carry out, or to ensure how you want to approach towards the testing. Test procedure, basically the procedure that you follow for testing. Test process, what all steps are involved in the testing. Test suite is collection of test cases, and then testing is actual testing activity that you do. Test waves are the byproducts, so basically the byproducts of testing activity. Traceability, meaning traceability is yet another important keyword. Basically what we say is trace, we start from left, okay, and trace to the things in towards right, meaning like for every requirement there is a test case, and the test case is executed, there is a log, and the log is is for certain requirement, certain test case which is for certain requirement, like that. Validation and verification, again two important terms. So verify whether you covered all the requirements or not, and validate. Basically, validation is validating whether the intended software is indeed is working as intended, right? So so verification and validation, some people make use of are we building right product, are we building product right. So verification, validation, those two things are also used. So we covered chapter 1. Yeah, in next section we'll move to chapter number 2. Thank you.